Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Monterey Bay Aquarium. My name is Meredith, and this morning we are going to be talking about one of my favorite animals in the ocean. How many of you out there also love sharks? Just by raising your hand. Good. Get a couple of you out there. Okay, and how many of you out there, and feel free to be honest, feel a little bit nervous around sharks just by raising your hand? Good. Okay, so we have about a 50-50 split here today. So I'm pleased that I get to talk to you a little bit more about these animals that I think are sometimes a little bit misunderstood. They are often portrayed in the media as mindless killers, but today we're going to learn that that is not the case at all, and sharks do, in fact, help keep our oceans healthier for being in them. So how do they do this? Well, since we are talking about sharks, and we do usually worry about what they might do to us and that they might actually maybe bite us or something like that, let's talk about how sharks find their prey. So, and can anyone out there tell me, how do you think sharks find their prey in the ocean? Smell? Good guess, absolutely. Sharks do have a very sensitive sense of smell, and actually they have quite a large part of their brain dedicated to figuring out smells in the ocean. In addition to smell, sharks also have the same four other senses that we do. So they also have, say them with me, sight, smell, good, taste, hearing, and last but not least, touch. Just like we do. So sharks have those 5 senses to help them find their dinner. In addition to those, they have 2 more. Maybe they're not mindless killers after all. They also have a very sensitive line along their body. If you look at the shark, do feel free to come take a closer look at our sharks after the program. Along the side of their body, just about where the gray meets the white, there is quite a sensitive line of cells along there, and that's called the lateral line. Lateral is another word for side. So that layer, or line of cells rather, are very sensitive to vibrations or disturbances in the water. So what might cause a vibration or a disturbance in our oceans that a shark might detect? Definitely people, sure, people splashing around, surfers, other fish, dolphins, maybe leaping. What about boats? Boats, other things in the water. Those sharks can sense those types of things with those particularly sensitive cells on the side of their body. So that's called their lateral line. Now their 7th sense is, well, it's represented by tiny little black dots that if you looked closely at a shark's face, you would see tiny little black dots all along the snout and even around the mouth region. On that front area of their body, those tiny little black dots are actually pores into the shark's body that are filled with a jelly-like substance, and they are there to help the sharks find their dinner. They are there to detect bioelectricity. Is anyone out there making any bioelectricity? Could our sharks find us if we were in the water with them? Well, if you have a heart that's beating, a mind that's thinking, or muscles that are working, you are creating bioelectricity right at this moment, and sharks can detect that about other living things in the water with them. So that 7th sense, represented by those tiny little, almost itsy-bitsy little black freckle-like things on their face and snout, are called ampullae of Lorenzini. It's a very long word for teeny tiny little black dots, but it's a pretty neat extra sense that sharks have that we don't have to help them find their dinner. So earlier I was asking how many of us feel a little bit nervous around sharks, and like I said, they do have a bit of a bad rep in our oceans. However, if it weren't for sharks, our oceans, the number of species in our oceans might look a little bit different, because sharks, just like the top predators on the plains of Africa, are, you ready for this? They're a little bit lazy. It's true. Just like cheetahs and lions on the plains of Africa, sharks prefer to pick off the sick and dying animals in a prey population, thereby leaving the healthy ones to reproduce and continue to populate our oceans. So if it weren't for sharks in our oceans, it might look a little bit different. different in terms of number of species that are in the ocean. So I think maybe we should keep sharks around for a little bit longer. Maybe we shouldn't be so nervous around them after all. So thank you very much for joining me for our 9 a.m. Shark Talk today. I do appreciate you coming out. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day at the Vancouver and the Monterey Bay Aquarium. And if you do have any further questions, please feel free to come ask me. Once again, my name is Meredith.